Okay, guys, we are live, and I'm the alt monarchist, and that's my co-host,
Hello.
not a spy, with his not a dog.
Yes, this is I am not a spy and this is not a dog. Say hello, not a dog. Oh,
Yeah.
there she goes. All right, we lost our guest today.
Dang it.
That was fast.
Yeah. So yeah, today's just gonna be like a fun topic. We're gonna talk about the solar eclipse lunacy. So some people think that the world is going to end tomorrow on April 8th, 2024. Today's
Wait,
April
is the
7th. We still got a couple hours left.
okay? So the eclipse is tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
I've known it's like imminent, but I've stopped paying attention just because the sheer amount of nonsense that's been happening. Like everyone's favorite, and by favorite I mean least favorite, social rejects, the preppers, are losing their minds about it. And like on top of that, the evangelicals are going batshit insane, talking about the rapture again, which don't get me started on that one.
Yes, there are people who believe that this solar eclipse somehow will tie in the return of Jesus Christ as soon as possible. And some people think it will be tomorrow, and some folks think it will be in May.
Yeah, we this isn't exactly the order we had, but I got my nasty grubby little Tricom mitts on a video. It's about 17 minutes of a Protestant talking about how he had like a revelation, and he has. And this is the funny part. This man has 100,000 subscribers. It's like 106,000 subscribers on his channel, and he's just talking about like numerology and the end of the world is in June. It's so just. I thought we were done with the Q-tards, but apparently they survived and they mutated like a mold, like a
Yeah.
virus.
Well, yeah, like it's just like the flat earthers. You thought they disappeared, but then with
Mm-hmm.
social media taking over everyone's households, all of a sudden the flat earthers came back. They resurfaced because of
Yep.
YouTube. Like YouTube, like back in the day, people could just upload whatever they wanted, and that's where you could find all that fringe lunacy stuff was on YouTube.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
and what they've done, they've birthed other groups on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and yes, and now like with all this weird, strange stuff, you have the Q-tards. You know, all their prophecies never came true. The Q-tards were proven wrong, and then and that now we have
Yep.
the whole solar eclipse thing happening tomorrow. Tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
there will be some special solar eclipse. I've heard theories. People say that some solar flares might affect something, because a month ago, something happened like that. Apparently, solar flares affected AT&T service, and a lot of people were not getting any signals. People like if you had AT&T a month ago, and
Mm-hmm.
you try to make a phone call, you couldn't for like I don't know, like half the day. I don't know how many hours exactly, but most people who had AT&T, they could not get any service. And so apparently it was solar flares, but some people theorize it could be China. I can't do the Trump China thing, but China.
China,
Can you do it?
China, ladies and gentlemen, it is China who is messing with our hentai streaming. Damn it, I said that.
Did you say,
Ah,
sir? This is a
I
family-friendly
realized what I said
show.
after I said it. I was just trying to do like a goofy Trump,
Sir, this is a
and then I
family-friendly
realized.
show.
Then I realized what I was saying. Like after I
Sir,
said it, yeah.
so,
I'm gonna blow my head off.
is there something
Okay.
about you we should know?
Um, I have like five things I could say, but none of them are family friendly. But they'd all be funny. They would all be funny.
Well,
um,
you might as well let it out because the world probably might end tomorrow. So,
that's true. That's
yeah,
true. I like abs. I think honestly that the boob and butt debate is gay and fake, and that I'm an abs guy. That's like the most controversial point I have.
So your future wife needs to have good abs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. If like, I mean, bro, that's just me. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's controversial. I'll probably get shot down in the streets for that
Well,
take, but
according to Myron from Fresh and Fit, if your wife or girlfriend is going to the gym, it's a sign that she's going to cheat on you eventually. So, yeah, that's why.
what?
Yes, that's why you will get flack from the red pill morons. Like they'll say, "Oh yeah, if your wife is going to the gym, it's a huge sign she's going to cheat on you because of certain statistics." And of course, they don't explain where these statistics come from.
What what are they smoking? Or wow, I know they've had some pretty bad takes, but that is offensively bad. Why? You know what that makes me? Okay, you remember a guy, we both knew him, and he actually had like a similar take like that, where he's like, if a woman is exercising, that means that she wants to be in charge. It's like, no, it means she's being healthy, you idiot. God forbid people take care of themselves. It's like these idiots can't be happy at all. These idiots cannot be happy. If a woman is fat, they're mad. If a woman exercises, they're mad. Madness. It's all madness brought on from this stupid eclipse.
Well, Darth Kilhoun, thank you for the chat. He says, shame he said the H word. He's talking about you, not a spy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then,
sorry,
and then,
sorry.
then like
Sorry,
Darth Kilhoun
Kilhoun.
says, abs are for coomers. Academic agents is right about tomboy abs. Who's academic
Who the hell is
agents?
academic agent?
Yes, Darth Kilhoun, if you could
He
enlighten
sounds like
us on this.
okay, Darth Kilhoun, I love you, man, but you gotta no, okay? This
Well,
is why voting is a problem.
Darth Kilhoun is one of you people. He's a papist like you. So
Oh, he is. I know
yes.
he's our first guy.
Oh yeah, yes,
I remember that Darth
Darth
Kilhoun.
Calhoun, our first donor, like the guy who
Yeah,
supported
we
us, the
still love
first
you.
one, the first guy to actually donate to us. So thank you,
We
Darth
still love
Calhoun.
you,
Yeah,
even though
we
you're
still
godless.
love you, and we still remember that first donation. Yeah,
But like, who is academic agent? I've heard his name before, but like that's
I
about
don't
it.
know who that is, but I did hear a theory that like apparently like straight men, if you're a straight guy, you only love tomboys, and if you like effeminate women, then you're actually 50% gray. It's kind of weird.
I mean,
I'm wondering if that's who Darth Kilhoun is referencing. I'm not sure. So yeah, Darth Kilhoun, if you could enlighten us on who is academic agent and what do you mean about
yeah.
tomboy abs, please let us know.
Well, I know what he means by tomboy
Oh
abs. He
really?
means the holy grail of the Lord himself. Yes, abs of athletic women. But I digress. I mean, it's not like a the people who okay, wonderful segue. Actually, thank you, Darth Kilhoun. So we can talk ill on Philistines like these fresh and fit people. I almost used a different word on accident. Um, a lot of these guys are like, are you familiar with high and low contrast thinking?
Oh no, no.
Okay, so high and low contrast thinking. They're two different. My bad. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I'll get the message out. You'll know exactly what I mean. So high contrast is take two products, say whole percent and 2% milk, right? Same quality, same everything. But if one views whole as having like more positive traits than 2% milk, that doesn't mean that whole milk is better for some things because it's higher in fat, but 2% is better for other things because sometimes you don't want that fat, right? They view it as whole milk is better than 2%. And they can't rationalize, oh, well, if I'm baking, I'm making pudding, I'm going to use whole milk. If I'm making a protein shake, I'll probably use 2% because it calorie wise has a better protein ratio. Like they can't think that. They can't think that at all. It's just like good bad. Which is more good than the other thing. The other thing must be bad because it's less good than, you know, other things we're talking about. That's high and low contrast thinking. So a lot of guys get bogged down on like the things they like, which, like things that you like, right? Some dudes like, I'm trying to think of like inoffensive things I can bring up that won't get me shot in the street. Some dudes like short hair on girls. Yep, I'm going to get shot for that one. Some dudes like girls with short hair, right? And a lot of guys will look at that and be like, well, I find long hair more attractive. Therefore, you're bad. You have bad taste. It's like, no, it's just a different taste. Some girls look great with short hair. Some look awful. Some look great with long hair. Some just look awful. It's highly contextual. But a lot of dudes are too stupid to grasp high and low contrast thinking.
So I just want to tell you that even though there are some women that look great with short hair, I agree, but still, those women should still have long hair because long hair still makes them look better, and you're a bad person for liking short hair.
That's it. All right. Come here. All right. Come on, buddy.
What are you going to do?
We're doing this once.
What are you going to do? Set the dog on me?
No, yeah, we're not a dog.
Yeah. Even your dog didn't want to be in the stream with you.
That is rude. You know what? I'm personally offended. I am personally offended, and I'm going to jihad you for not liking short hair on girls. Like, that's it. That's it, man. We're going full send.
Okay, bring it on, papist.
Bring it on. You're still just mad about the Fourth Crusade. You still are.
Hey. You're crossing the line. You're crossing the line now, buddy.
Skill issue.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to the whole solar eclipse topic because we got sidetracked.
Yes. God, that is a very gray take from Fresh and Fit.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, guys. So remember, if your girl is going to the gym, she's probably going to cheat on you. That's if you trust the Red Pill community and the Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit is the Red Pill community, but yeah.
I hate this era. I hate this timeline, dude. It is so intolerable. I can't take it anymore, Mr. Jesus.
Well, this timeline is getting worse, especially with all the Protestants spreading their nonsense on the internet. And like we said earlier, we're talking about the whole solar eclipse thing here. And let's play a clip from these crazy Protestants. Like, they believe that Jesus Christ is going to come back in May. And I think the solar eclipse has something to do with it. Apparently, they had a dream about Jesus talking to them. And apparently Jesus is going to come back in the summer. So let's kind of play a clip from these people.
Coming. I believe with all my heart we will have a rapture of the church, a great harpazo, the catching away, and I'm on that first load. And we will have the greatest feast of all time up with the marriage supper of the Lamb. I've told you about it in videos down below of the great feast that's about to take place with the marriage supper and the lights.
Give me just
everything that's decorated, how beautiful it is, and the parade that they're going to have for us, and the family members that are waiting on us to come home. And I just want to encourage you all. It's not all doom and gloom. Yes, there's some bad days ahead, but as it's getting darker, the light's going to get brighter, and that's inside of us. Jesus lives on the inside of you, and it lives on the inside of me. And I just wanted to encourage you all today that Jesus is coming soon. I know there's a lot of people say, "Oh, he's put your rapture rugs up," that it's not for a long time away. But I'm telling you, they're wrong. I believe with all my heart, Jesus is coming sooner than what people realize, and it's going to catch you off guard. It's going to catch you off guard. It's going to shake everybody. And so I just want to.
Okay. I did not play the whole thing, but what's up with that guy? What's up with that Protestant boomer? He might be Gen X, but why is he dressed like a Slav LARPer?
I love how that's your takeaway.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that meme that's like the English guy that's bald and he's like wrinkly and he's like, "Why do I love my boy Mabutu for the Arsenal team?" You know that one?
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah. Oh no, actually, here's a better one. You'll know this one better. Come on, England. Boom, boom, boom. That one, dude. I could not like get that out of my head watching that video. All I could think of was that.
okay, so Darth Calhoun, the Byzantines betrayed Emperor Barbarossa in the Crusade. If they hadn't, then Islam would have been destroyed. But no, the Byzantines had to be jealous of the greatness of the HR Emperor. Pfft, not holy,
Is he
not
talking
Roman,
about the
not an
Fourth
emperor.
Crusade?
Well, he said Third Crusade, but anyways, Darth Calhoun,
Okay.
you got to update us on the whole academic agent though. Like, who is that? And
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I'll be real. Crusade history is interesting, and I actually studied it
mm,
in university. Which way is my? Okay, there we are. But like, hon- honestly, kind of a hot take is a lot of dudes. It's kind of like Rome, or even like kind of the Great War era. A lot of people obsess with like. And I'm not saying this about you, Darth Kilhoun, at all. Like, way too many dudes obsess about like history and completely forget that we live now, you know. And there's this kind of like nerdish culture. Um, do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where there's this kind of like, oh, if only this happened. It's like, well, it's been 1,500 years, so we kind of kind of should, you know, start lifting the weights.
Yeah. Well, anyways, you still haven't told us who academic agent is, Darth Calhoun, so we're still
Yeah,
waiting.
you nerd.
Yeah. Well, he's a fellow nerd. He's a nerd like
He is
us.
a fellow nerd. Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
is. We love you, man.
Yeah.
So
So
I
anyways,
do have here
back to
this
the
video.
Protestant though. Back to the Protestant who's talking about Jesus coming back. Why is he dressed in an Adidas tracksuit?
My
I'm still
man looks
trying to
like
figure this out.
he's a true Brexit geezer. That's what it is, man.
Well, he sounds American. He's got that Southern
He's
accent.
American. Yeah, he's definitely a Southern like evangelist, which
Southern evangelical.
yeah, evangelical. Same difference.
Yeah.
That's a lie. They're different.
So basically, yeah, this is the video where he's talking about the dream, and like in the beginning, his wife's reading the dream, and it's just so boring. Yeah. But what's interesting is that like a lot of these Protestant visions, like they all like never come to fruition. But the question is, where do people come up with these visions? And partially it's like fraudulent, it's just a bunch of scammers. Then partially it's kind of real, like it's basically just like demonic entities trying to distract people from the truth of the Bible, of the gospel, and just be
Hmm.
like, yes, the end times are going to be at this point of time right here, and you better be ready. I remember watching a Russian Jewish convert to Protestantism, so basically a Russian Messianic Jew,
Hmm.
talking about the end times, and he used like astrology, like literal horoscopes, like like the basic, white girl
Yeah,
horoscopes. And
yeah.
so, like, he's kind of like he's comparing certain Bible verses and saying, "Look at this horoscope here, here, here. Look at this date," and like basically he had to combine like Christian theology, combined it with a bunch of pagan occult stuff, and he said the end of the world will come in 2016, and the
Still here.
and yeah, we're still here, and it's just like nothing really happened, And the thing is, either he's being a scammer because he's selling a book. He had his like little book, and like in his book, he was explaining the whole process, how 2016 is when Jesus will return, and so he was being interviewed, and he was asked, "Well, doesn't the Bible say nobody knows the day or the hour?" He goes, "That's correct, but
Hmm.
it doesn't say anything about the year." So he says
That
2016, but we just don't know. But we don't know what day or the hour, but somewhere in 2016, basically.
it's actually great that you bring that up. How like a lot of them were like, it was revealed to me, or they try to use these like divination means. Is that the right wording? Means of divination to try and like predict when Christ is returning. Little do they know that divination has been a heresy for I don't know like 1,500 years. It's been a long time that it's been like, and I'm the last person to be like to be like that's a heresy, but that's a serious thing where it's like I'm pretty sure it says it in the New Testament too, doesn't it, to not do forms of divination. I know it says in the Old
I
Testament.
basically like I currently don't have like the verse in my head right now, so I don't know what to quote you, but
Does
yeah,
it sound
yeah,
familiar
it
though?
sounds yeah, it sounds familiar, but I just don't know like the verse or the passage off the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So they're using these like forbidden means to, well, it's like we often mention, a lot of people are only nominally Christian in the United States. There is still a lot of like new age pagan kind of hippy dippy stuff, to where you'll have a lot of people who claim to be Christian, but they're not. They'll worship the Bible. They won't worship God, and they'll use these new age forms of divination and things to try and like sort things out. They're oh, what's the word?
mm-hmm.
Charismatics. That
Charismatics,
lot.
yeah. And Darth Gilhoun says something about them. He says, "Evangelical, don't you mean evangelifish?" I just say evangelis.
I have no
Yeah,
idea how to interpret that, but
yeah.
it that
Okay,
is that
so
is genuinely
okay,
funny.
so regarding academic agents, he says, also, I did inform you guys on AA. AA is a British dissident right YouTuber.
Okay.
Like, for some reason, it's just like not registering with me. Like, I just don't
I
remember, to be
don't. Yeah.
honest.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure I've heard. Actually, I have heard his name a few times on the Black Pill stream, but that's about it. I don't. Even though we're on YouTube, I don't spend anywhere near as much time on YouTube as one would think.
Yeah. So, yeah, back to like Protestants, their end time nonsense. Yeah,
Hmm.
like, it's kind of weird how they don't trust extra biblical sources. They say we only trust the Bible, but then they go to extra biblical sources to prove the Bible.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but yeah, like today's just kind of a chill stream. We just want to like talk about the lunacy about tomorrow because people think
Hmm.
something big's going to happen. Personally,
I mean, I.
I think it's just going
Oh, go
to be a regular eclipse.
on.
Like nothing unusual is going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, the whack thing is we had a full solar eclipse last year.
Wait,
Um,
oh, we did.
yeah,
See,
there was this a
like
full.
I was not even paying attention to it. That like I just didn't care.
Yeah, I was like going along my day. I was not in the state I normally am in. I was out on work, and it's just like going along my day. It was like, wow,
Well,
wow, it's
but
cloudy.
it's something about tomorrow's eclipse. People decide to make it super important, and
Yeah, I
like
don't I don't
it could
know.
be just another distraction psyop too.
It honestly could be, and like when people are bored, because like tell me I'm wrong. It's been a boring past like I don't know month. It feels like nothing really happened.
Well, March, yeah, like basically there weren't like, any cool memes for March. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there was no
Like
like rich
every
person
month
supplements.
there's a new meme popping up that's super epic, and March, I don't know, I don't recall anything interesting happening in March.
Yeah, which like I'm okay with a boring month. That doesn't bother me. But like, yeah, I've always noticed when there's like nothing happening, people always try to attribute like,
The only thing like that's super big that happened in March was on the 31st of March when um Biden decided to rename
oh,
yeah, well he decided to not rename Easter, but he decided to make the 31st like a national Skittles holiday.
yeah, it's like the trans
It's
day of
Transformer something, yeah.
visibility
It's the
or something.
Transformer inclusivity something, yeah.
I believe if I actually remember right, the title on the news was Trans Day of Visibility. So, but even then, like there was some kvetching, there was some gnashing of teeth, but like nothing happened. It's like cool. Another holiday that nobody's going to remember until their Google Calendar is like, guess what day it is. But I feel like just the level of boredom like is causing people to see the eclipse and be like, something's gonna happen. Like, no, probably nothing's gonna happen. That and like, okay, kind of dialing it back to the preppers I mentioned, because you know how they're always like trying to see like the schizophrenic actions of the government. They have been talking about in Oklahoma where the eclipse is going to be best visible. A lot of people are going there, and people have been warned to like keep days of food and like avoid mass gatherings or something. But like other than that, there's nothing tangible.
Yeah, there were some social media posts talk about how certain states are declaring a state of emergency for tomorrow,
Yeah.
and a lot of that could just be fake news. So, yeah.
I mean, even then, if it's like, so what's the population of Oklahoma? It's not a lot because it's primarily rural state. Um, and I mean, I guarantee I'll be wrong in saying this. I'm gonna say it's 6 million, and if say a quarter million of people visit to see the eclipse, right? That's a huge influx, and it definitely would stress public utilities. So it'd be completely reasonable to be like, hey, if anything happened, there's going to be a lot more people. Be more careful, kind of thing. But like, I don't really think anything's going to happen. Watch, the one time I say nothing's going to happen, something's going to happen.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it was with COVID when people were like, "Oh my God, not a spy! The world's ending." I was like,
Well,
I've
kind of
heard that
almost
a
did. It
thousand
kind of
times."
almost did actually. So
Yeah.
I remember though, like I remember in 2019 when the whole coof thing was happening, right? It
Hmm.
was very like mild, but like people were like kind of talking about it, but it wasn't like super crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then in
Yeah.
2020, like in March, that's when like people said, "Oh yeah, we gotta start shutting down the borders." And
Hmm.
yeah, and like that's when that when like people started shutting down the borders of their country, started shutting down like airports. That's when panic mode hit, and people would just go to the stores. I remember going to the grocery store, and boom, like everything's empty. I went to Walmart, like all the water
Hmm.
was gone, all the bottled water was
Oh yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I remember
I would
it's
go to
like,
Fry's, and the same thing. Like the toilet paper is gone, and then it got
hmm,
so bad. Basically, they decided to have a curfew on the toilet paper,
hmm.
and
I remember
like
it was like day one. No, I was like, nothing's gonna happen. Do you know
yeah.
how many like, oh, this new virus is gonna shut down the world? Like, I have been reading articles like that since I was a child.
Hmm.
So the first time I was like, nothing's gonna happen. It actually did happen. And then the next, you remember like the 3-4 month period when nobody knew how dangerous it was?
Well, dangerous. Yeah, dangerous, quote unquote.
Yeah, but like nobody actually had a solid answer. Like you're seeing the videos of people like puking blood out because it's like liquefying their lungs never happened. But like there was a good like couple months where like everyone thought like, oh God, this is like horribly dangerous, and if I think about it, I'm gonna die. And like people were going out to the grocery store in gas masks and stuff. Do you remember that?
Well, yeah, I remember because I used to have like a delivery job, and I would do deliveries, and I was an
Mm-hmm.
essential worker. In 2020, I was an essential worker.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to put like a special kind of, I had to like tape a special paper on the back of my window, well, my rear window in the back of my car, so that if cops saw me,
Mm-hmm.
they'll see that exemption, saying, yeah, this guy's a an essential worker. And so I remember before curfew would hit, like I remember people would just be selling toilet paper on the streets.
Yeah, on the side of the road.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'd be driving by and be like, "What the?" And like people say toilet paper right here. Like so, what they did, they bought like a ton of toilet paper at the store, and then they're selling it for like a higher price outside,
Yeah.
right? And it was like whoa, like it was like literally really bad.
Dude, yeah, that was a
Okay.
wild
So
time.
someone commented, "Hey, good evening." Okay, that was Tatiana. Thanks for the chat. Okay, good evening. I didn't even know there was an eclipse until last Friday. I probably wouldn't have known if my son had received the glasses to be able to look at it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, like some people did not know there was an eclipse. Like at work, I remember like some guy like yesterday. I told him about the eclipse. He goes, "What? What eclipse?" Yeah. So there are some
Yeah,
people who just like stay off social media. They just don't care.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
on when you're talking about as astronomical, not astrology is the art ho stuff. Yeah, astronomical phenomena. It's super cool, but it's also like kind of a trivial matter, if that makes sense. At least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. But still, like it was just pretty interesting during the COOF era in 2020, just seeing people just sell like toilet paper, and
Hmm.
because of that, like it basically became illegal. I know in Arizona, I think they made it illegal to do that, right? Because they're saying, hey, it's not fair, you know, like you can't be doing this, you can't be buying up, and that's when they started to like enforce the whole rule where you could only buy like what like a two-piece toilet paper or something like that, like
Yeah, it was like a roll a day or something.
or
I remember they
I
did
think
that
it's
with
like
the
two. I think it's
pants.
like two rolls or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like tiny amount. They did that with hand sanitizer too. I remember how they had signs that were like, it is an offense to buy and resell this." Like, okay, dude. All
Yeah.
right, guy.
Yeah. It was so bad. My ex-wife actually, she would go to Whole Foods to shop, right? And so, she actually would carry the big female bags, the like those big purses that the females
Hmm.
carry, right? And so she would go to Whole Foods and she would go to the women's bathroom, right? And she would just
How,
steal the huge like because in Whole Foods like they actually
how
do
do
have
you
the huge
describe that?
rolls of toilet paper in there. So she'll just open up that little box right there, pull it out, just put it in her bag, just walk out.
This is how you describe that, man. The bags females carry.
Well, you know what I mean. Those big
Yes,
purses,
yes, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, like they're huge, like these big bags, and so she would just steal the toilet paper from Whole Foods and just
Dude, based, highly based.
yeah, it was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
no,
weird time.
but that's how bad it was. That's how bad it was.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember like National Guard showed up at a grocery store so people would stop like buying everything. That was just like but what is happening?
yeah.
What
So
are you people doing?
so basically, like you and I are saying, nothing's going to happen tomorrow. Then all of a sudden, something could actually happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like I'm either really really good at predicting things or just terrible at predicting things. And
But
I
you know
feel
what's
like
but
this.
you know what's interesting though is that Americans like they'll go into panic mode whenever things like this happen. When the Y2K scam happened,
Oh my lord,
like the
yeah.
shelves were empty.
Hmm.
Like what? One day before New Year's Eve, people like just went to like Kmart when Kmart was still around, and they'll just empty up all the shelves, and then
Yeah, well, it's like with hurricanes too. Americans just love to ignore until the last minute,
yeah
and then panic buy.
yeah like because I had friends in Russia who were like, "What are you talking? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, just take the safety precautions. Wear a mask or something, but like, don't go full panic mode. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, seriously. Like my friends in Russia thought, like, wow, look at America. Look at like how crazy they are. Yeah, like, these people don't know how to survive.
I wonder
Yeah.
how much of that. Speaking of preppers, um, is how much like apocalypse movies are a thing in American culture. Like everybody loves those. I'll be honest. Even I can enjoy one here and there, right? Like they're a big thing in American culture. I've always wondered, like, are they prevalent outside of America? I
Well,
don't feel like it.
um, they kind of are like they exist outside of American culture, but yeah, it's kind of more of an American thing. And I think it's
Hmm.
because like it's just kind of showing like late stage capitalism. Like here's late stage capitalism. It falls apart completely and everything just breaks down, right?
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, but most of it's not that. Most of it is basically zombies taking over the world, like something like that.
solar
Yeah, or
flare or
some virus, some virus
yeah,
infects half the population. So yeah, but
some like vague collapse kind of
yeah,
thing.
but with Mad Max, and actually Mad Max is an Australian thing. Like Mad Max is
Hmm.
Australian. Let's not forget that. But yeah, like I think with Mad Max is more late stage capitalism. Like the
Yeah,
superpowers could not make an agreement on the oil crisis, and
Mhm.
apparently in our timeline, like in our real world, apparently in the 1970s, the world was going to get there to that moment of Mad Max, where apparently like there was some sort of crisis in the Middle East, and the Soviets and the United States were not able to kind of I guess share or like so, there was some sort of issue that they had, right? And apparently, if the
Mhm.
issue was not solved with the whole oil crisis in the Middle East, then apparently we would have actually you know became that Mad Max world. Like our planet would have become that. But like I don't know, like how true that is, but it's possible. But in the 1970s, people thought that that's what's going to happen. That's why the movie Mad Max like inspired the screenwriters to write that movie because they lived through it in the
Mhm.
70s, this panic mode. In the 1970s, they're thinking, oh wow, like the world almost ended because the USA and the Soviet Union could not make an agreement on oil. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
know that era too. Peak oil was like a ever looming sort of Damocles in the mind of a lot of people. Um, it's World War III now, but peak oil was like a there were a lot of like the oil ran out and then the world collapsed kind of films. That was like a whole subgenre back then.
well, you did ask about like post-apocalypse stuff outside of the United States, and we talked about Mad Max, and
Oh yeah,
I would
yeah,
say
yeah.
Metro, like the Russian
Metro,
novels
I
and
love that.
the video games.
Hmm.
Um, but what's interesting still, even for Russia, that's kind of more of a newer genre to this newer idea that like the world's like this dark place and these evil
Hmm.
entities take over, and because in the mindset of the Soviets mindset, because a lot of the Gen Xers they lived in the Soviet Union, and a lot of the millennials were like born in the Soviet Union or they're born like right after the Soviet Union collapsed, right? And
Yeah.
so in Soviet ideology, right, the future is communism, and so therefore the future is always bright, like it's never dark and gloomy. That's why like
Hmm.
yeah, that's why there is no like a Terminator or Terminator 2 future where 2029, you have nothing but ruins and the robots are taking over, right? In Soviets futuristic sci-fi films, like there's space travel, there's like fighting other aliens, all that stuff, but there is like no end world kind of thing where society around the world breaks down and there's new forms of governments. Like in post-apocalypse movies, like usually like this group of people they create their own war band. This group of people they create their own
Yeah.
war band. These people are democracy right here. These people are a tyranny or dictatorship, whatever. And like Fallout New Vegas, right? You have the New California Republic. It's trying to kind of rebuild America, and then you have Caesar's Legion, which is trying to kind of emulates the Roman Empire, right? And so,
Hmm.
so in Soviet ideology, that type of future is just impossible because eventually, like the world will either be communist or the Soviets will be able to kind of like just keep the world safe, right?
Yeah.
And so
I've noticed that with
so this mentality of like post apocalypse, it's not so it's basically very fresh. It's like a very fresh idea about post apocalypse, and basically the collapse of the Soviet Union kind of made the idea more popular because of what the people lived in the 1990s, and like Russia and Ukraine, Belarus, Georgia, Moldova, they were all just going through like a very bad time when the USSR broke apart, and like people just like became super poor. People who had money became like really poor, and so this idea is kind of more new. Like this whole post-apocalypse idea is kind of new because the whole post-apocalypse thing is still not fully there with the Russian people
Mhm.
because they still kind of have that positive attitude about the future.
Yeah, I've noticed that with like because I've read the Strugatsky Brothers Roadside Picnic, which is technically a post-apocalypse book, and I've also played the Stalker games. But like the general vibe with a lot of Soviet and post-Soviet sci-fi is like it's not with Americans, and this might be like the hyper individualism expressing itself in writing, where Americans are like everything's broken, the system's all gone, and like, oh, it's this one guy. Whereas with stuff like Roadside Picnic, like actually things are just pretty normal, even like the worst parts of it, it's just like accepted as life, it's very normal people living normal lives in odd places and times is the best way I can describe it. But to them, that's normal. It's not like, oh my god, and then this thing happened. It's just like, oh yeah, the aliens showed up. Kind of weird, but it'd be like that.
Yeah, and the movie itself, like government still exists, like basically, yeah, there's some sort of zone which kind of like apparently there is some sort of post-apocalypse theme to it, but like government still exists, and like there's still social order, like everything's back to normal, right?
Yeah.
So even in the movie, like Stalker, which is basically a Roadside Picnic, is based off of Stalker. Even then, it's still like basically positive, right? For multiple reasons, because the filmmaker kind of did not want to completely anger the party leadership with his movie. But still,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, Mad Max is the same to where,
yeah.
like, in Mad Max, the first one, I think it's called Road Warrior.
No, that's the second
Um,
one. Road Warrior
is that the
is the
second
sequel.
one?
Yeah,
What's the first one called?
Mad Max.
That's just Mad. Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's like there's actually like a society and stuff. Things actually like
Well, what's
are.
interesting about Mad Max, the first Mad Max movie, so
Mhm.
in the very beginning of the movie, it straight up says somewhere in the near future, like literally,
Yeah.
like right there. But when I first put in that DVD, my old Mac laptop, I put in the DVD, press play, and I got sidetracked. I got distracted by something, and I did not see the part where it said somewhere in the near future. I kind of turned my head around, then I kind of looked back on the screen, and kind of just shows
Mhm.
it shows the cops sitting in the car, and I just thought it was a regular film about Australian highway patrol.
Dude, honestly, yeah,
I did not know it was a
thinking.
post-apocalypse film simply because I did not see in the very beginning. I just did not pay attention to the part where it says somewhere in the near future. I kind of just looked away somewhere, then kind of looked back on the screen. And I just missed that whole text saying it's in the future
Yeah.
somewhere. And I just thought it
Yeah.
was basic Australian highway patrol because, and
Mhm.
plus the way people are dressed, the way that the cars they have, right? They look
Yeah.
like normal cars from the 1970s, 1980s. So like I'm thinking, okay, like this does not look like a futuristic post-apocalypse movie, and I thought that's how Australian highway patrol worked, and nothing about it just kind of nothing about it hinted at it being post-apocalypse. They had television, a normal, typical 1980s television set.
Mhm.
Yeah, like there's nothing about it that said post-apocalypse. Then when I turned on Road Warrior, like right after that movie, I put on the next DVD, Road Warrior, and I was thinking, wait a minute, that's strange. Like it goes from
Mhm.
from this to straight up like what is this? Like straight up
Yeah. Yep.
because Road Warrior is straight up like you could tell that is post apocalypse. That is straight up people living in the desert, the different societies, and and in Road Warrior they actually explain what happens. Like in the very beginning, there's a narrator. He explains what happens. The two tribes, the USA and USSR, basically they could not make a deal, and that's what led to the whole situation. And I was thinking, oh, that's kind of interesting. Then eventually I realized, oh, yeah, in the very first movie of Mad Max, you got to pay attention to the text that shows somewhere in the near future. That's how you'll know
Yep.
it's a post-apocalypse film.
Oh yeah, and I remember the first time because I'd seen the other Mad Maxes first, and then I saw the first one after I'd seen the other ones, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. It was nothing near like the other ones in any way, shape, or form. That's a good way you describe it. It's just like Australian highway patrol, to where it's just like, wow, this is kind of weird, kind of boring almost in a way. Like ice cream is a thing. They're making new cars. There's that part where he goes to the the beach house with his wife and kid on a vacation. It's like, what? What am I watching?
Okay, so Dark Cahoon sent us a super chat. Okay. Okay, so for $1, thank you, Dark Cahoon. On Census Fidelum, there was one priest who put his sermon up about the passion of Christ and how nature revolts and the earth was covered in darkness by an eclipse. He said it's funny how this eclipse is going to go over cities that abortion. For some reason, I don't have the rest of the text.
Woe and despair.
Yeah, so apparently the eclipse is going to be over towns that have abortions.
Like the entirety of the South, I believe it.
Wait, what do you mean just the South? Like New York. Like New York is not the South.
Oh, it is going over New York, isn't it? Interesting, but I know it's not going over California, so I don't know. I mean, it could. Again, it could be, but I'm a little skeptical about things like this. That's just me. I'm kind of skeptical naturally as a person, especially when it comes to like divination and things like that. I find it a little, even though I'm a very much an old world Slav, I find witches predicting the future to be a sus.
Well, this is not really this is not a witch. It's more of a it's a priest. So
I just use that as like a pejorative.
Yeah. And then Dark Cahoon sent us another super chat, but I'm having trouble.
It got weirdly gloomy.
I have trouble reading it for some reason. It's not showing up.
Oh, that's because it's the evening.
Okay, so likely is a sign Americans. Okay, I don't know why I can't read the rest of that. Oh, hold on. I'll fix it. No, I'm not fixing it, making it worse. Oh, I found it. Okay, I figured it out. Sorry, guys. I had a brain fart right there. Okay, sanctuaries that like this is a sign for American to convert, or that God might punish America for its sins like Sodom and Gomorrah. Right, that was another $1 super chat from Darth Kilhoon. So we got two super chats from Darth Kilhoon. Thank you so much for the super chats, Darth Kilhoon.
You're getting marks next to your name, my friend.
Yes. Yeah, so the previous super chat that Dark Kilhoon said, it goes, on Census Fidelium, there's one priest who put his sermon up about the passion of Christ and how nature revolts and the earth was covered in darkness by an eclipse. Mm-hmm. He said that's funny how this eclipse is going to go over cities that abortion. Okay, I know what he's talking about. I saw a map, I believe, where the eclipse is going to be in certain states, and it's kind of more like in the middle, and it kind of goes like in this big line from like the center part, from the center of the United States, and goes further like north. Yeah, so like that's an interesting point there. That is very interesting. So yeah, once again, thank you, Dark Cahoon, for the super chats.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So anyways,
those are interesting. I'll have to look up the path of it after the stream to see where it's going. There's definitely a lot of hype around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess like we'll see what happens tomorrow. Like I got nothing else. Like, you got anything?
No, drink milk.
Well, guys, so if you guys want to continue to support the channel, you may go to our merch page. We got merch that you could buy.
New merch.
Yes, we have shirts that say Jesus Christ is King in Hebrew and Jesus Christ is King in Arabic. So check that out. Also, like, share, subscribe, share this video with your friends. And also, if you just want to donate to the channel, you could also go to the link where you could send donations. And it's the Streamlabs link. So if you just want to send a donation to us, that's also fine. Or if you just want to buy